we have to identify which is the incorrect sentence. Yes. Okay. In pharmaceuticals, Wockhardt has bought CP Pharma of the United Kingdom for $10.85 million. Tata Tea has taken over Tetley of the UK, the world's biggest tea bag maker, for $430 million. With the processes, it has become the world's second largest tea company. Okay, so here, if you see, it began with acquisitions. Here you have to look for punctuations also. Okay, so punctuations also play a very important role when they give you for sentence corrections. Okay, if they ask you, you have to identify the incorrect sentence. In that process, you will be you will be required to identify along with the punctuation marks. Okay, so here we have to identify the incorrect sentence. So we are just going through all the sentences. We have gone through all the sentences, and here how do we identify what is wrong? Okay, here read the sentence 1 to 3 times. That's what I told you. In your exam also, when they give you a question, it will just be this particular part appearing in your screen. Okay, so kindly read it once or twice. Then you will understand what might have gone wrong. Here they say only sentence 4 is wrong. Okay, so I'm just going the reverse way, so we are just going it fast. So here, if they say this is the wrong answer, we have to see what has gone wrong. With the processes, it has become the world's second largest tea company. So with this process, it has to be with this process, it has become the world's second largest tea company. Okay, or with these processes. Okay, it has to be this process or these processes. So since they have given with the process, we can't go with both the things. Okay, we have to go with the plural formation what's being given here. If it is processes, this had to be, it can't be a definite article, it had to be these, or if this is a definite article, it had to be with the process. Okay, so that is the reason why this is considered as a wrong statement. Okay, this is why it will be considered as wrong statement, and we are incorrect statement, and we are going to identify that as to be incorrect statement. Okay, so kindly read the statements once or twice until you're comfortable. Understand where the definite article or the article is being placed, whether it is plural or singular, and consider all these aspects, and only then you have to go with the answers. Okay, so even for sentence corrections, I have shared you the link in the previous class, last class. The same link only provides you for sentence corrections also. Okay, you can go through sentence corrections in the same link. Service sector and services sector both can be considered as one. We don't call it as manufacturing center or something like that. Okay, please send the link again. I will share it. Kindly wait. By the end of the class, we will share it. Okay, so you can just complete these sentences again, and additional sentences if you want to do apart from the link also, you can go to Google and give it as sentence corrections or IELTS sentence learning. See, IELTS is actually a higher level. Okay, it's very high level, and it checks only your English grammar. Might be your CS will not be of that very high level of scrutinizing and all those things. So just don't be worried that, ma'am, it's very difficult, we don't know how to go ahead and all. Don't worry, no problem. You just have to understand how the concept is. Okay, for understanding the concept, just go with that. Okay, you can also try with IELTS sentence corrections or English grammar tests. Okay, it will give you. Then we have sentence arrangements. This is just like your para jumbles. Okay, in sentence arrangement, a sentence will be broken into 3 or 4 components, and after that you have to arrange the sentence in a proper way. Okay, in para jumbles, a paragraph will be jumbled and broken into 3-4 parts and given for you, where you have to analyze and identify and check, and after that you have to insert the proper paragraph arrangement. The similar way in sentence arrangement, we are going to identify what is the correct way in which a sentence can be formed. Here, we'll just go with the first one. For the government at the center, caring, the pressure to check fuel prices is intensifying. Up for several assembly elections this year, followed by general election in 2019. See, one thing is very clear, up for several elections, after this, we can't go with for or we can't go with the. Okay, so up for several assembly elections this year, followed by general election. So C and D is going to be my 100% one of the combination. Okay, so after doing one easier way for you, once you're comfortable with C and D, C and D is available in this particular answer, and apart from that, C and D is available in this particular option. Okay, the reverse way easier what you can do. So C and D, I'm sure it is there in A as an option and D as an option. Okay, let me try A first. So what is it? For the government at the center, gearing up for assembly elections this year, followed by general elections, comma, the pressure to check fuel prices is intensifying. Okay, that seems good for me. We'll just try the last option also. Up for several assembly elections this year, followed by general elections in 2019, for the central government, for the government at the center, gearing, the pressure to check fuel prices is intensifying. See, this is not okay for us. Okay, so for that perspective, you can just go and check it. And here I feel option A gave me a proper meaning. So I'm gonna go with proper meaning. Okay. So this is how it will be easier for you when you try to do it in the reverse way also. Okay. Might be if you're doing it one actual way, you're trying to do, you're not understanding, you're still yet confused. First thing, check any two combinations. Okay, any two options what they have given you, A, B, C, D. In that two, if you are able to identify and if you are very comfortable, check with those two which are the options, and remaining two you just put it in a form of a sentence and read it and see whichever is better for you, you can do that. Okay, this is one. See, this won't happen easily. Okay, they are asking, ma'am, will this take too much of time? Yes, all this will take time if you don't practice. If you practice constantly a little bit more, and if you try to make it into an habit, it will become faster. Okay, so you'll know how to do this. See, this won't take hardly like 45 seconds or something if you have good practice. Okay, to answer all these questions, it will be fast. So just try to practice constantly every day, like an hour or 1.5 hours with all the aspects, then it will be easier for you. Okay. Okay, with this, after this, I think we have one more concept, that is sentence completion. Sentence completion is very simple, just like our school days, how we had fill in the blanks, the same concept. Okay, there's nothing different in this. The only thing is you have to know how your English is. Okay, so if you are comfortable in your English language, then it will be easier for you. So the best option for you will be kindly start practicing for all these things. It will be easier. For example, I'll just go with one or two questions. This can be, unless he leaves this office, I will not stay. I will not say anything. Unless he leaves this office, I will not say anything. So here, I will not say anything. And one more thing is, unless this office. So he is still not. You have to understand whether it is past tense, present tense, or future tense. Okay, in that, which tense this is being spoken about. Okay, so here I will not say anything. It is speaking about future. Okay, I will not say anything until he leaves. Okay, so for that perspective, we are going to study this and we will understand. Unless he leaves this office, I will not say anything. Okay, that becomes important. Then you will have dash. I would have help. I would help all the poor if I was rich, or if I. It's actually if I was rich. Okay, this option is actually a little bit wrong. It's not I were rich. It's supposed to be I was rich. If I was rich, I would have helped all the poor. Okay, so like this, you have to start practicing a little bit. For all these practicing, yes, you can go with IELTS or any Google options, which will give you more options to search. Might be next class, if possible, even I'll search for a couple of links and I'll share you the links. Okay. I'm not, just a minute. So after this, we are going to start with the next chapter. I'll just see if there's any doubts with respect to this chapter. I'll take it up, then we will see. Okay. Somebody is asking, I've got 7.5 in IELTS. Will it be easier for me to clear? It will be easier for you to clear only chapter 3. Okay, not other chapters. Mm, practical questions, any suggestions for any site? Yes, I will just try today, and tomorrow I'll give you any couple of links where you can go and practice. Okay, I'll try to give that tomorrow. And which is more heavy, English or business communication? What is heavy English or business communication? I didn't understand. See, this chapter is a part of business communication, so I can expect certain questions from this chapter. Okay, it's not that the entire question will come from only this particular chapter. Fine. Okay. Question. What is that? Syllogism question. I don't know what it is. Ma'am, can we use rough paper during exam? Yeah. Okay. Fine. So I'm just gonna close the chat box again. Okay. There's nothing related to this. So we'll just start with the next one. So kindly don't keep posting on the chat box. I'm not gonna see the chat box. Okay. We'll come back to the chat box after completing this particular chapter at might be 9:10 or something. Okay. 5 minutes. I'll give you 4 questions. Till then, kindly listen to this. Don't keep popping things on the chat box. Fine, the chat box is closed. I'll not go back to the chat box. Okay, the next concept what we are going to understand today is business communication. Okay, so this is your chapter 4. So what happens with communication? The simple concept, see, this is a revision class, so we are not going in depth. Okay, we are just trying to understand what are the concepts, that's all. Okay, so it's easier for you to go through, and if you have any doubts, you can mark it down. We'll address all those in detail on Friday. Okay, so here first we have to understand what is communication. So the word here, you can understand this. The word is derived from a Latin word which means communis, that means to share. Okay, so these are small words which you can remember. Then here, what happens in communication? There are two individuals. Okay, basically in communication there needs to be two individuals, where two individuals are trying to exchange certain information. Okay, this information can be exchanged by symbols, signs, behaviors. Okay, any format they can use, and with this assistance they are gonna communicate with one person with another person. Okay, here, what using these symbol, signs, and behaviors, what are they trying to express? They are gonna express their facts, opinions, ideas, feelings. Okay, so when they do this, that's what is called as communication system. So in communication system, they've given you a couple of definitions as to what communication system means. Okay, we'll just go with one definition. Webster's definition states, Webster's dictionary states that communication is the act of exchanging information and understanding from one person to another person. Okay, so here what we are trying to say, where one person is trying to communicate with another person for exchanging information and understanding the information what is being exchanged. Okay, that's very, very important in communication. Communication plays a very important role only when one person tries to explain certain information and the other person is able to grasp that information and understand it. Okay, if the other person is not able to grasp the information and understand the information, then the entire communication process will be in vain. Okay, it's not going to be useful. So communication is something where two people are involved, they exchange information, and when one person exchanges information, the other person has to mandatorily understand the information. Okay, what's being exchanged, that is very important. The next concept is business communication. So what happens with business communication? Business communication is a process where one person is trying to communicate with another person. Okay, but here there is going to be exchange of facts, figures, ideas, feelings, everything will be there, but the other person has to be convinced. So once the other person is being convinced, the most important thing is the other person being convinced has to give or generate certain amount of revenue for the person who is selling that particular product, okay, or giving that particular idea or exchanging that particular idea. So one person is trying to pass on the information, everything related to certain products, service, or whatever it is, to another person. Why? Because he wants to convince the other person. Only when another person is convinced, he's going to buy that particular product or service, and he's going to generate certain amount of business for the person who is explaining that. So when a certain amount of business is being generated to the other person, he's going to cover his cost, and after that he's going to make some profit. Okay, so when a communication process happens between two persons, two entities, two business, two individuals, two partnership firms, two companies, or two manufacturing industries, okay, whatever you name it, okay, when two entities come together and they communicate certain information in exchange of certain goods or services or products, and generating certain revenue for the other person who will be able to cover his cost and make profit, that is what is called as, in simple, business communication. Okay, so business communication is something where communication is involved with the perspective of generating profits. Okay, that will be called as business communication. So with perspective of generating profits, what are the important things in a communication system? That's what we are going to understand in this particular chapter. Okay, so before that, we'll understand what are the basic features of a communication system. Communication is essentially a two-way process. That's what I told you. There'll be two entities. One person is going to give certain information. The other person is going to accept that information. If he has any doubts or clarifications, give a feedback and get it clarified. And after that, he's going to understand all the information what's being provided by this particular person. Okay, communication is an ongoing process. Yes, in business communication, if you see, or any communication process, it is always an ongoing process. Okay, he might give me certain information like this particular product is being bought from your particular place. Okay, let's say I took a motorbike, okay, from this particular person. This person has purchased a motorbike, so this person every time will contact the same person in order to go for a service, repairs, okay, whatever it is there. So it is an ongoing process, so a proper relationship will be built up. Then communication consists not only of facts but ideas and emotions too. So they will not just give the facts and figures, they will also understand what is their emotions, what is their feelings, what is their idea. Only then one person will sell the product to another person. Okay, communication is a dynamic process. See, everybody involved in the environment has to involve or get themselves engaged in the communication process. Without that, nothing will happen. So one person is trying to talk and the other person doesn't respond, so he'll not be my effective recipient. Okay, that means he's not going to buy this product, or he's not going to respond to the information what I'm giving. So it's going to be loss of time. So only when it is a dynamic process, your communication will be effective. Then communication is goal oriented process. Yes, always the sender of the message will have a certain goal to be achieved when he sends the information to the receiver. Okay, if the sender is sending certain information and the receiver is not receiving any information, or it's not at all being helpful, then it's of no use. Okay, so for this perspective, it's always important that is a sender has certain amount of goal, and the goal is being expressed in certain way that the receiver will understand and accept it. Okay, only then the sender will be successful. Then you have communication is an interdisciplinary science. Communication is not only speaking. Okay, communication involves anthropology, that is the study of your body language. So how is your body, how you're trying to explain, what are the non-verbal communication methods you're using, how is your eye contact, how is your body um, like how you use your hand movements, leg movements. Okay, all these things will play a very important role. Then you have, it's a psychology. Yes, because I have to understand what is the attitude of my receiver, how he is gonna perceive the information what I'm gonna give him. Then it's a social and political science, that is you have an opinion an opinion is generally being created in the mind of the receiver. So therefore I'm creating an impact, okay, just like a politician creating an impact on a particular individual, okay, or a citizen in a country. So all these things play a very important role. So communication is not just related to business, but within business also you have to think about various other aspects, okay. All these things will be falling into picture. Then you have um, importance of communication. So why communication becomes very important in a business, or for a business to be very successful, okay. In terms of business communication, why a business requires communication. The first one is increase in size, okay. Let's say a company is growing, okay. Initially I had a business operation just in Bangalore, okay. So after that I wanted to expand my business operations in Mumbai. After getting proper core setup, after that having it in Bangalore, then I'm going to Mumbai. From there I'm going to Surat. From there I'm going to Noida. From there I'm coming to Kolkata. From there I'm coming to Hyderabad. Then I'm coming back to Bangalore, okay. When I'm establishing in various other places, after having a core system in Bangalore, it becomes important for me how I achieve success in Bangalore. Okay, so based on the same model, I'm going to implement it in other places. So when there is an increase in size, communication becomes very important, because what is the success model here that needs to be communicated to people who are in the other locations. Okay, only then they will understand all these concepts. Then growing specializations, like let's say today specialization has become very important. Might be mm, I can tell you, let's go with any manufacturing. So the easiest is okay, just a car manufacturing. Okay, when I go with a car manufacturing, might be my Bangalore plant is giving me only assembling. Okay, my Mumbai plant or Maharashtra plant is giving me steel. Okay, and a Gujarat, that is Surat plant, is giving me um, uh, tire. Okay, and after that Noida plant is again an assembling plant. Okay, if I have all these things wherein I'm trying to specialize one particular component in one particular factory, okay, but these particular specialization has to communicate with assembling plant, they have to communicate with tire manufacturing, they have to communicate with molders. Okay, all these things becomes very important, because only when they communicate entirely with one another and they try to implement it, only then the final product, how it is supposed to be designed, that that desired design we can achieve. Okay, for this perspective, it is very important for us to understand what is the specializations going in, and for the growing specializations communication becomes very important. Okay, then you have cutthroat competition. So today, with the result of liberalization, globalization, and privatization, there is huge and humongous competition in the globe. Okay, so today, if you see, Maruti is not just playing an important role in India; they are also globally available in certain countries. Same way, if you see Toyota, Hyundai, even they have come down to India. Okay, from a global market. So there is a cutthroat competition for us to survive. In order to survive in an efficient way, communication is very important to understand what is the market behavior, how things work. Okay, for all these, how I need to advertise, how I need to have contacts, how I need to publicize. For developing all these relationships, communication becomes very important. Then you have trade union movements. If you get into any big manufacturing firms, okay, the biggest thing is there will be labor unions or trade unions. So employees play, or the laborers play a very important role in an organization. So it becomes very important for us to understand what is their requirements and adhere to all their requirements. Okay, otherwise they can get in. That is, we should have proper communication with the blue collar laborers and also white collar laborers. Okay, otherwise it will become a problem for us to run the industry. So that is also one important aspect. Then human relationships. So today organizations don't work simply. Okay, so you have top level, middle level, and lower level management. So each level has to be connected. So everybody's needs and desires has to be taken care by an organization. Only then employees will survive in that particular organization. So today they are being involved in decision making. any particular critical decisions. They are also being involved for designing, manufacturing, research and development. Okay, for all these perspective, we involve employees and take their suggestions. Based on that only, we go ahead and do any operations. For this perspective, this becomes very important for us to understand that human relationship, communication with human relationships or employees in the organization is very important. Then we have public relationship. So after doing the internal communication, the next level important that comes into picture is external communication. With respect to external communication, the organization, outside the organization, they have to talk with few people and maintain a good relationship. That is suppliers, customers, government departments, okay, and security service people. Okay, so all these people are external people. I have to have a good communication and have a rapport with them. Then it's a personal asset. Communication will always be a personal asset, be it that's what I've told, be it a teacher, advocate, journalist, a manager. Okay, whatever you are, communication is very important. Only when you have a good communication system, whichever environment you are left into, you can survive in a very better position. Okay, then you have communication process. So what happens in communication process? I'll just go with this particular diagram. It becomes easier for us. So basically, I told you there's going to be a sender and there's going to be a receiver. Okay, so sender will have certain idea. So once he has this idea, he has to convert this idea into words, sentences, diagrams, figures, pictures, representations, signs, symbols. Okay, he can use whatever method he wants. Okay, so sender is basically having a message. The message is going to be converted. Okay, converted in the form of, that is, he's trying to explain that information in the form of he's going to try to explain the information in the form of symbols, diagrams, all these things. Okay, words. Then after that, he will send this particular message to the receiver. Okay, now the receiver will receive this information. After receiving the information, what he's going to do, he's going to decode the information. That is, he has sent me certain words, sentences, diagrams, pictures, everything. Okay, might be written communication will keep it as. So the written communication has come to the receiver. The receiver will start reading it. Okay, studying the particular information or report what's being given. That's called as decoding of the message. Okay, so once the message is being decoded, if he doesn't understand anything, he's going to give something called as feedback. Okay, so basically sender will have a particular message. He will encode it is present it in a particular format and send it to the receiver. The receiver will open that particular format, study it and understand the message. Okay, if he understand the message exactly the way it is sent by the sender, then receiver will be happy. If receiver has any particular misunderstanding or he has not understood any topics, then he will go for a feedback. Okay, so in this feedback process, the sender will get to know what are the problems the receiver is facing. If he has not got any clarity in particular information, he will pass on again. He will redraft the particular information or the message. He will encode it and send it to the receiver. The receiver will study that information and understand the message. So until the feedback stops, it is going to be the sender who has to make sure the receiver gets the information exactly the way I'm trying to send it to them. Okay, this becomes very, very important in communication process. In this, they also call it as noise. Noise is nothing but the disturbance. So sender will have a bad handwriting, or he will speak through a phone but the network will be bad. Okay, so all these things are considered as noise, so that can be a hindrance or disturbance. So when we are like opting for any communication methods, it becomes important for us to understand that we have to try to avoid this disturbance. Okay, that's what is happening with respect to communication process. So the same is being given here. That is, basically I have to develop an idea, then I have to encode, then I have to transmit, that is send the message from a sender to receiver. The receiver will receive the information, he will decode, that is he will study the information. If he has any feedback, he will send the feedback to the sender and get clarity. And after that, noise is being the disturbance, whatever happens, distractions which is coming into picture, which needs to be avoided. Okay, this is in terms of um, uh, communication process, how a communication process works. Then the next concept that's going to come into picture is um, the next concept that's going to come into picture is principles of effective communication. So what happens in effective communication? So effective communication is a process where we are trying to understand the message clearly, how it is being sent by the sender. Then we after once the sender is having a constant way of sending messages or explaining messages, it becomes his particular style. Okay, so the receivers will become comfortable the way a sender explains thoughts or messages and all these things. So it becomes easier for the sender. Okay, so the sender will have certain amount of credibility. So let's say constantly if somebody is creating certain problems, okay, these problems needs to be adhered to, and the sender is very comfortable in explaining all the doubts what a particular receiver has. So the receiver over a period of time will become comfortable with the sender. Okay, so if they have any doubts, they find it very easier to go to that particular sender, talk to them and get the clarification done. Okay, so that's called as credibility of the sender. Then how the message is affecting the receiver. So once I send a particular message, how it is being accepted or understood by the receiver. Okay, that's very important. If receiver is able to take it up in a very clear without any feedback, then it will be called as a effective message being conveyed. Okay, so all these things will be important. So for sending an effective message, what are the important things? Here, for sending the effective message, we are going to consider a concept called as 7 C's of effective communication. Okay, so we will understand what are the 7 C's. The 7 C's will be called as expression of clarity of expression, completeness of information, conciseness of message, concreteness in the presentation, courtesy towards recipient, correctness of facts, consideration for receiver. Okay, we'll just go in detail. The same thing is being explained just in the diagrammatic format for your understanding. The first one is clarity. So what is that in terms of clarity? So I told you the receiver will have certain idea. He has to encode it. So at the process of encoding, what are the things that I have to keep in my mind as a sender? Okay. So as a sender, when I'm trying to send out information, I have to keep it brief. That is, I should not give too much of information. It needs to be short. It needs to be acquainted. All the information should be present, and I need not use very powerful words. I have to use effortless, simple, comfortable words, okay, which is used in my colloquial English. Then conversational words and phrases can be used instead of using any idioms, proverbs, and all these things. Okay. Uh, Successful paragraphs and grammatic corrections is important. Kindly know when you're drafting any particular document, we have proper paragraphs. Okay, 3-4 sentences make into one paragraph. Then I give one particular line, have a particular style. Okay, in which you're presenting. So it's convenient for the reader to identify which paragraph what you spoke about. Okay, so it's easier for them to take notes or make notes or ask you for any doubts. Then, if required, give them illustrations along with case studies, so it becomes easier for them to have more or in-depth knowledge. Then staying away from technical words or phrases and also jargons. So these can be used if you're sending the information to a receiver who is in your same field. Okay, if I am in manufacturing field and the receiver is also in manufacturing field, then okay. But if I am in manufacturing field, the receiver is in service field, then don't use technical jargons or words or phrases which is being used in manufacturing field to the receiver. Okay, so it is important. Then the next one is completeness. So what happens with completeness? Completeness is when I'm trying to pass on certain information, okay, I have to give complete information which increases the reputation of the complete information is when I give the entire information, the other person is constantly not coming back to me. So if he's not coming back to me constantly, it becomes easier for us that the feedback time, whatever is there, that can be saved. Okay, so I'm just giving information, he's trying to interpret, and we are just closing there. So the feedback time, what is being lost, that can be made use in a productive way. Okay, so we can start making a profits in that particular time instead of wasting time in giving feedback. Then this is cost saving. That's what I told you. When entire information is being passed across, it becomes easier for us to save time and use that time for other things. Okay, it always gives additional information wherever required, so it becomes important for you. Even if the other person is not asking, we can say this is the additional information, and we can give it in schedules, annexures, or something like this. Okay, then you have complete communication. It helps in better decision making, both for the sender and for the receiver, if they have to make a joint decision, or if the receiver has to make any decision, it becomes easier for them. Okay, for this perspective, you have to keep it as complete. Then you have concise. So what is concise? Concise is this is going to be very helpful. That is, when I'm giving a particular presentation, just like highlighted PDF. Okay, so why I'm trying to highlight it, because those are the concepts which we are trying to emphasize and give you explanation. Okay, whereas other things are something where you can go and study on your own. So here we are making it concise, so that whatever is important in your particular presentation, you're going to keep it in bold, italics, highlighted. Okay, so it becomes easier for the other person. Even if they leave out on the other topics, they will know, okay, if I read this particular word, this tells me about this particular information. Okay, once if I read, that becomes easier for me. Next time when I go and read that particular word, I will understand, okay, this is what it means. Okay, so that's why it is very easier in revising or recouping or doing any of these processes. Then you have highlight messages. It will be helpful. Then provides short and essential messages in limited words. Okay, small crisp words. Okay, it will be helpful, like bullet points or something like that. Then it is non-repetitive in nature. You don't repeat it over and again. Okay, all these things will come with respect to conciseness. Then you have concreteness. Concreteness is the information what I'm providing needs to be very efficient. Okay, so it shouldn't have any backlogs, mistakes, misrepresentations, or misleading facts. So from this perspective, when I'm giving any information to my receiver, I have to ensure that the information what is completely genuine. It has all the facts and figures. It is very clear, and it will pass on the entire information without any misinterpretation. Okay, so without leading to any confusion or ambiguity, the information is being passed on to the receiver. That's what is coming with concreteness. Then you have courtesy. Courtesy is very, very important, where if you are giving any information as a sender to a receiver, kindly understand that receiver will have a particular viewpoint. Okay, you have to know what is his feelings, emotions, and all these things, and based on that, you're taking all those things into consideration. Based on that, you're passing on the information. And it courtesy is always about being positive and focused towards the audience emotions and feelings, and showing them respect and not being biased. Okay, selective about particular audience, and not selective about not being concerned about other audience. Okay, you're not being like that. You're trying to be considerate with all the audience present there. Then you have something called as principle of correctness. So what happens with correctness? The information what I'm providing, as I told you, it needs to be concrete. The same way it needs to be correct. Okay, it is exact. The correct information is being passed on. When I give correct information, what happens? The receiver will have a certain amount of confidence, and after that, it becomes easier that the entire information what I have passed on, the receiver will be happy. Okay, so over and next time what happens, I as a sender, whenever I send information, they will build certain credibility on me, and whatever information I send, it will be impactful for them. Okay, it will create a good impact on them, and it will give all the facts and figures. All these things will be provided. Okay, it will make them more clear. Okay, and the correct information is being passed on to them. Then you have then it's also important for you to use the appropriate and correct language in which you're trying to pass on the information. Okay, along with language, also the ways of communication you can decide. We'll explain what are the ways of communication. Then you have consideration for receiver. So always it is very important. I as a sender, I shouldn't send the information. As a receiver, I have to say what is their understanding, what is their input level, how they are trying to understand this information. Okay, so what is their level of understanding, what is their background? After knowing all these things, then I have to go with something called as you approach. You approach is I'm trying to approach the receiver. I approach means from my perspective, what is the information I have to give, I have given. Okay, that won't work. But when you understand the receiver and give information as per you approach, whatever is your approach, as per that, if I give information, only then I'm going to win this receiver. Okay, so it's very important where I have to understand what is the receiver's mindset, what he's trying to have, what is his interest, what are his nature, what is his behavior, what information he wants. Okay, I'm giving more emphasis on that, and I'm trying to be more presentable to him. Okay, so at that time, I'm gonna win certain audience to my own perspective. Okay, so that's important, and that's what is considered as consideration for receiver. So these are the 7 C's of effective communication. So along with 7 C's, there are certain things which we have to consider. That is, choose the right means and mode. So you have to understand me as a sender and as a receiver. Where is the sender located? Where is the receiver located? Okay, so we have to understand. I told you I'm in the manufacturing sector. I'm sending information to a service sector. Okay, so I will understand what is my organization into, what is their organization into, what is the size of my organization, what is the policies, what is the cost involved in communication, what is the urgency, what is the distance involved in the matter to be communicated. Okay, if I have to send some parcel or something, along with that, I have to send a report how it is being used, then how I send the manual. Okay, what are the resources availability, what is the confidentiality of the information, what I want to say or what I want to pass it on, and how I need to record this particular information. All these things become very important when I'm choosing a particular means of communication. Okay, then whatever information I give, okay, it's very important for me to own my messages. Okay, if I give certain information, it is very important to take the responsibility and authority for the information what I have offered. Then offer complete and relevant information. As a first instance only, you as a sender, if you're sending any message to the receiver, make sure you're sending the entire information to the receiver. Okay, and the receiver is comfortable taking the information. If the receiver is not comfortable taking this particular information, then it becomes a haywire for you. Okay, so or feedback, and feedback needs to be provided over and again. But once if they come for a feedback, and if you know what are the questions that they have, the the second time when you're answering them, kindly make sure all the information is given and there is or um, um, any missing information. Okay, that's very important. Then obtain feedback. So even after sending the information, the receiver might not reply back to you. Okay, if the receiver is not replying back to you after certain time, might be give them a week time or 10 days time. After that, ask them what is the input. If, do they have any feedback or clarity required or any options like that? Kindly think of that and then you pass it across. Then you have think of the recipient. It's the same as think about the receiver, where you're going to concentrate on you approach. That is, you're going to understand what is the receiver's intention, what he wants as an information. Based on that, we will give the information. Verbal and non-verbal congruence. So it is very important when you're trying to communicate to have proper verbal and non-verbal communication. So verbal is might be here I'm using oral communication. Along with that, I'm trying to input non-verbal congruence. So just like your first day class. Okay, so we didn't have the video because there was certain issues, something was not getting connected, some issue was happening. So if that is the case, it won't be more effective. So when you have a particular non-verbal congruence connected with your verbal congruence, the effect is more. Just like you listening to a song on radio and you watching the same song on a television. Okay, there is a huge impact. That's what we call it. Even in communication, that becomes very important. Repeat if necessary. Only if information is required or any feedback is required, then kindly repeat that information. Otherwise, don't repeatedly go and irritate the receiver with all unwanted information. Okay, kindly try to avoid this, and do not judge. So whenever certain information is going to be provided, don't judge. This is how the receiver will be, this is how he is expecting, this is what he will have. Okay, try to keep a neutral view when you're trying to explain certain things. Then rely on the facts. So the information or facts, whatever you're trying to provide, or whatever facts or information the receiver is sending back to you, kindly rely on that fact and based on that, pass on the next level of communication. Okay, so don't close it there. So all these things are very, very important with respect to effective communication system. Okay. So the next concept that what we are going to understand is Johari window. So Johari window is a simple concept. Okay, simple SWOT analysis. So here what they are going to understand is how the information is going to pass in an organization. So in an organization, we will understand what are the four windows. Here it is known to self, known to self, it is known to me. Okay, known to others means it's known to others. I also know it, others also know it. Then you have not known to self, I don't know. There is a small spelling mistake here. This is not known to others. Okay, so this is not known to self and this is not known to others. I also don't know, others also don't know. Okay. If I know and others know, we will fall into this criteria. So this is called as arena, or um, see, if you have any problem that audio is not clear, video is not clear, kindly log out and log in, because we have hundreds of participants and everybody are able to see it. Okay, if one or two people is having, kindly log out and log in. So known to others or known to myself, it will be in open arena. Okay, so here we will just go through this so it will be easier for you with the examples. For example, in the open arena. Okay, so open arena, I know my name and others also know my name. Okay, so I know what's my name and others also know what is my name. So it is all for in the open arena. Okay, the second one is I this is a hidden quadrant. In hidden quadrant, what happened? I love Ben and Jerry cherry ice cream. Okay, so this information is not known to others. Okay, but when we are having a certain something, okay, when we go out or something, this information, I ask them, what is your favorite ice cream? And I say this is my particular flavor which I like. Okay, so what is happening, the information which I knew alone, okay, which was basically in the hidden quadrant. If you see, the information was basically in the hidden quadrant. Where is that? Hidden is blind spot? No, hidden is facade. Hidden is facade. It is known to me, but it was not known to. Okay, so I knew what is the flavor of ice cream that I liked, but others didn't know it. So when this information, when they asked me and I told others also, what happened? This window opened and this information fell into the common open arena. Okay, so in open arena, what happened? Now everybody knows what is the flavor of ice cream that I like. Okay, then the next one, blind spot. Here, what is happening? We restaurant, okay, and I may have unknowingly forgotten. I may have unknowingly gotten some food on my face. This information is blind spot. Is in my blind spot because you can't see, but you can see, but I can't see. Okay, so here what is happening? Here it is in blind spot. That is not known to self. That is, I have gone to a restaurant. We are having some food. There is some food particle on my face. Okay, others are able to see that food particle, I am not able to see. Okay, when others are know, it is known to others but it is not known to self, it was in blind spot. When others told me that there is a food particle on your face, I went and I tried to remove it. Okay, so what happened, that particular food particle, when they told me it's on my face, even I got to know it. Okay, I didn't know it but I got to know it. Then that information also will fall into this window, will open up and the information will fall into open arena. That is, others also know, now even I know. Okay, then the last quadrangle will be unknown quadrangle. Okay, this is like I may disclose a dream that I had, and as we both attempt to understand its significance, a new awareness may emerge, known to neither of us before the conversation took place. So, what is happening? I had a dream, okay, and now I'm explaining to others. Both of us don't know what is the interpretation of that particular dream, but we start interpreting that particular information, and once we get certain information, it is known to me and it is known to others. So even this window will open up and it will fall into open arena. So the concept is very simple here, where they say whatever information is there in windows, once the information passes on to public at large, or once the information passes from public at large to us, the information will automatically fall into open arena. Okay, so this is what they are trying to explain with the Johari window. So there are four options: known to me, known to others, not known to me, not known to others. So if known to me, known to others, like my name, it is in open arena. When it is like face aid, I knew what is the flavor of ice cream that I like, but others didn't know. When I told it to others, it fell in this particular spot. I blind spotters. I didn't know that there was a particle of food on my face. Others knew it. When they told it to me, I removed that. So everybody got to know about the information. I had a particular dream and I didn't know how to interpret the dream. I told it to others, even they didn't know how to interpret the dream. Once we started interpreting, we understood what is the interpretation. So everybody knows what is the dream and what is the interpretation. Okay, so these are the four arenas. So to interpret these four arenas, they have identified certain adjectives. Okay, I've told you already what is an adjective. An adjective is something which will emphasize a noun. Okay, so these adjectives are something which they have tried. So they have given 55 adjectives just for your understanding. Okay, they won't ask you what are the adjectives of Johari window or something like that and all. Don't be like should be by hat or anything like that. No, nothing required. This is for your understanding. Okay, so if I'm calm, which place will I find? So if I'm calm, two, three characters put together, then which place will I fall into? Whether open arena or hidden blind spot. Okay, like that it is. So these are the 55 adjectives which they have identified in order to identify which window does a particular behavior fall into. Okay, and after that, if that gets opposite, how will it go to open arena? For that perspective, we are using that. Okay, so just a minute. Okay, so after this, the next concept that we are going to understand is types of communication. So the types of communication, the first two, there are two types of communications. That is, one is internal communication, the next one is external communication. Understanding if communication is happening within the organization compound walls, okay, like within the management, lower level management, any top level management with security people. Okay, everything that is happening within the organization will be called as internal communication. Okay, so internal communication, it can be formal, it can be informal. Okay, formal is I'm sending a report like this. Okay, memos, reports, office orders, circular, staff newsletter, fax, email, notice, agenda, minutes, manuals. Okay, so all these things will be considered as my formal return communication, or it can be other methods like radio. Actually, radios will be used for big manufacturing organizations. Okay, where they have to pass on certain information or give certain clues. This would be there in your college also, if I'm not. Okay, you will actually have a speaker system where they'll just announce information. The same way it will be used even in an organization. Okay, so all these things will be called as internal communication methods. So what is external communication methods? When an organization from internally speak outside the compound wall of the organization. That is, it can be government, it can be suppliers, it can be suppliers, purchasers, um, transport agency, logistics, IT department, PF department, labor union departments, any pollution control boards. Okay, so with anybody, okay, when we start the internal people communicating with the external world people, that will be considered as my external communication. Okay, this can be in the form of manuals, purchase orders, customer reports, brochures, service calls, tender documents, advertisements, customer feedback material, all these forms. Or it can also be in the written formats like circulars, graphs, charts, emails, fax, questionnaire. Okay, all these things. Apart from that, it can also be in the form of intercom communication, telephone communication, or gives us instructions, or teleconferencing, where we have a conference with our customers, clients, or whoever it is. brainstorming sessions. If I have a supplier and supplier is having some information, or I have a customer, I have to give some information, they're finding it difficult to install my product. Okay, that will all be called as brainstorming. Grapevine is again internal communication which is being passed across. If we have to pass across this information and all, then it will be considered as external communication. Okay, then you have different flows in communication. So what are the different flows? You have a downward flow, upward flow, diagonal flow, and horizontal flow. So what happens with these types of flows? So organization, there will be top level management, middle level management, lower level management. Okay, when top level management people are trying to communicate with middle level management, when middle level management people are communicating with lower level management, okay, the information is flowing from up to down. Okay, this is what is considered as downward communication or downward flow. Okay, the upward flow will be when lower level management is trying to communicate with the middle level management, and middle level management is trying to communicate with the upper level management. Okay, so when the communication is flowing from down to up, it will be considered as my upward flow. Okay, so in an organization, we always has to understand there are different levels. When information passes from top level to lower level, it will be considered as downward flow. When information is passing on from lower level to upper level, it will be considered as upward flow. Okay, then you have diagonal flow. So what happens in diagonal flow? Now I told you there are three levels. Okay, in these three levels, let's say in the middle level we have certain information, like let's say you are into manufacturing industry. Okay, in manufacturing you are in finance department. Okay, you are into finance department and you have to make certain payments. So now we don't know whether that particular product is reached in our inventory or not. So once the product is reached in our inventory, then I will make the payment. Okay, so now I have to understand whether the product is coming to my inventory or not. So finance department is going to communicate with logistics department. Okay, so that is what is called as diagonal flow, where somebody in finance department, manager or somebody in this level, will talk to executives in logistics and check with them whether this particular goods is arrived, whether we can go ahead and make the payments. Okay, when there is a cross communication between one department to another department, that will be called as diagonal flow. Okay, so the next level is called horizontal flow. So what happens in horizontal flow? Top level people will come themselves, anybody like manager finance, manager logistics, manager HR. Okay, if they are communicating with one another, it will be called as horizontal flow. Executive finance, executive HR, executive accounts. Okay, if they are communicating, it will call diagonal flow. Or anybody in production department, like packaging laborers talking with transport laborers. Okay, so all those things will be considered as my horizontal flow. So there are four types of flows where information comes from top management to lower management. It's lower downward flow. Lower management to upward management. It's upward flow. When information is asked from one level on one department to another level in another department, then it is called as diagonal flow. Then if communication is being passed within that particular uh, uh, level, okay, if information is discussed particular level, it will be called as horizontal flow. Okay, top level management people discussing only with top level people, or middle level people discussing only with middle level people, and lower level people discussing only with lower level people. That will be considered as horizontal flow. Okay, then you have means and modes of communication. See, don't repeat your question. Kindly wait. I've told you after 9, 10, we will take your questions. Don't keep posting your questions, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. Keep, I know it's control V, control C, that's all. But don't keep doing that in the chat box. Kindly hold on. Then you have different means of communication. So what happens with different means of communication? You have verbal communication, then you have non-verbal communication. So verbal communication is the form in which it's going to be expressed. Okay, it can be written, it can be oral, it can be visual, it can be audio visual. Okay, in terms of non-verbal communication, be eye contact, head movement, physical appearance, okay, all those things. So we will go in detail. So what happens with verbal communication written? Okay, in written, what is there? It is basically in the form of drafting letters, reports, circulars, proposals. Okay, all these things will be in written format. Okay, it can be either physically written or it can be electronically written, electronically maintained, MS Word or whatever documents. So the various things that fall under a written communication will be memo, reports, office orders, circulars, staff newsletters, emails, forms, questionnaires. Okay, so all these things will fall under your written communication. So what are the advantages of written communication? So with respect to written communication, what will happen is it allows us sufficient time for planning the document. So repeatedly we can read the document, understand what's being written in the document, what is happening. Okay, it becomes easier for us. Then it is enable us to receive the contents, revise the contents. So once the content is being drafted, I can go ahead and check what is the mistake happened. If any mistakes, I can correct it to display what we have written. So once it's being written, it becomes easier for us to present the information to people at large. Using headings and bullet points is possible here, and it can be filed and retrieved. So it can be stored at a particular place. In a future date, if we want, we can retrieve it. What are the disadvantages? It takes more time to compose. Okay, we have to study, draft, redraft, make corrections, check all the things. It is consuming. Suffers the limitation of sender, like the assumptions and prejudices. So the sender will not know what is the receiver's intention, what is the receiver's exact perspective or his emotions, feelings, and all. So it becomes difficult for us to do that. You emphasize and write a particular document. Inadequacy of what happens when we send a first, it becomes difficult that the we don't know what is the receiver's feedback. So first message will always have certain lack, okay, and the receiver will give us the particular information, and after the information is being collected, that will be used effectively here. Then you have suffers from lack of congruence. So congruence is nothing but connectivity. So there will not be enough connectivity. There can be a problem where my information is not matching with their expectation. Okay, so it's not an equal situation, so it's going to be a certain disturbances, okay, which will give way for feedback again. So all these things are disadvantages. Then you have oral communication. Oral communication is 80% of the communication by executives of the company is most of the time in oral. Okay, so what are the oral communications? Telephone or phone conversation, messages, intercom, face-to-face discussions, meeting, conference, presentations, a telephone or dictation, conversation, video conference, speech, brainstorming, grapevine, and interview. Okay, so all these sessions will become important. So what is brainstorming? Brainstorming is nothing but case study analysis. Okay, a case will be provided. You have to interpret it and come to an analysis. That is my brainstorming session. Grapevine communication is a process where I'm trying. I don't know whether the information is true or false. It is just a gossip. But when I'm trying to spread gossips in an formal organization, it will be called as grapevine communication. Okay, we won't call it gossips in the corporate world. We call it as grapevine communication. Then you have importance of oral communication. It's easier. Okay, this is one of the easiest option, and it is widely available, and it easier connect between the subordinate superiors. That is, different levels of organizations can easily communicate with one another, so we are not wasting a lot of time. Okay, it becomes an easy mode of communication. Then the okay, it's communication, it saves a lot of time. It provides opportunity for feedback immediately. Okay, and we can give the clarifications then and there. Then it helps to convey the message appropriately with the suitable ones. So we'll use proper words and all these things. So the main important thing what's going to happen here, we will know who are our audience. Based on their requirements, I'm just gonna explain what are the important things, what they want. Okay, how they want in that particular, will explain. Then you have oral communication as an effective tool for persuasion. Yes, if there is any a decision to be taken, immediate response is being required. Okay, I can just go, I can persuade and complete that particular task. Okay, I'm not waiting for rules, procedures, and all these things. It becomes easier for us. Then it is very effective for group communication. So instead of sending a mail to hundreds of people, I can call hundreds of people, talk to them face to face, clear it up then and there, and make sure that the information is being passed across. Just like how Modi does one speech where he comes and he says lockdown is being enforced. So he didn't give newspapers to give unwanted wrong information or misguide us. So he comes in person and gives it as an oral communication. Okay, those things. Then it is economical too, wherein I'm not wasting a lot of time, money, drafting and circulating and all those things. Then withdrawal of oral communication is relatively easy. Sorry, I made a mistake. So let me correct it. This is how it is done. Okay, but written communication, it won't happen like this. Then Urvasi, I think you just have to hold on. Repeatedly, don't post the same questions. Please hold on. Okay, don't keep jamming the chat box. Then you have attitude of what are the disadvantages? The disadvantages will be if we don't have equal mention. Okay, there might be different class of people, different group of people. We are not gonna adhere to everybody. Okay, it will be relatively tough. Then you have attitude of sender and receiver in the message matters a lot. We don't know what is their attitude, affects us. Then you have saying the right words at the right moment is very important. The habit of listening of the receiver is very important. Okay, so if the receiver is not able to listen to what the information explaining. Okay, so that's very important. Then bad and partial listening is very it's going to affect oral communication, because when we explain certain things, they might partially listen to certain information, leave out on other information. So when these things happen, it will be very difficult for them to undertake any like understand all the concepts what's being said. So there is no legal record which can definitely go and make them into liable for anything like written communication where it's recorded. So that's not there. Then you might have certain influence of your mother tongue language or vernacular language which will affect the communication process. Okay, so all these things will be considered as your negatives for oral communication. Then you have visual communication. So what are the aspects with respect to visual communication? Graphs, tables, models, demonstration slides, flip charts, neon hoardings. Okay, so all these things will be with respect to visual communication. So visual communication is very clear. It helps us to present all information in form of graphs and all these things. So analysis and interpretation will be easier. Okay, so building relationship with the data, it will be very easier. So I can say in the month of Jan what happened, in the month of February what happened. Okay, I can build up that particular relationship and show them where there is a hike, where there is a fall, and all these things. Then it is clearer and easier. Okay, and it is possible for the audience, okay, or the receiver to retain that information for a longer time. So if you see even in your textbooks, that's the perspective why we give you a particular graphs and pictures and all these things, so you can remember it for a longer time. Okay, then you have audio visual communication. Audio visual communications is where there is audio and there is also video, that is television, cinema, internet, video conferencing, presentations with the help of aid or electronic systems, just like we are having WebEx. Okay, so all these aspects will be your audio visual communication. It is easier. It has both sight and hearing. It enhances the efficiency of the message that is being conveyed. It has wider reach, and the cost involved is, it might be relatively higher. Because why they call it higher? Because everybody needs system, everybody requires internet. Okay, so all these things will be expensive. Then you have non-verbal communication. So what are the factors with respect to non-verbal communication? Here it will be facial expressions, the way we respond to a particular expression. Then you have gestures, how we respond, like nod your head or all these things. Okay. Then you have movements of your body, how you respond. Then you have eye contact, whether you're having a good eye contact with the presenter and retain that relationship, nodding the head, and physical appearances. So all these things will fall under your non-verbal communication. Okay. Then you have a choice of means and modes of communication. So based on the organization, each company can choose which method of communication is good for them. So in order to choose which method is best for our organization, we have to identify certain points. So what are the certain points that we have to study? That is organization size and policy. If my organization is too big, where I have lakhs of employees working in my organization, then I can't go with oral communication, because getting this entire 1 lakh people in one assembly, trying to make them sit, understand, that's not possible. But let's say if I have just 10 employees in my organization, I need not go for written communication, rather I can go for oral communication. I can call them, just tell them this is the information to be done, and then I can keep moving on. Okay, so first and foremost thing is we have to understand what is the organization size and policy. Then the nature of message, what I want to convey. If it is very urgent, important, I can't delay it by sending mails, couriers, and all these things. Okay, but if the same information is supposed to be sent across within a span of time, so let's say I'm asking for employee feedback or customer feedback, so those information I can send it through mail. So I have to understand what is the nature of the mail, nature of the message that I want to speak about, how urgent it is. Based on that, I have to evaluate. Then the distance involved. See, today, most of the companies, as I told you, today it has become as MNCs, where you'll be working with different time zones. And you have to understand what is the distance involved. So it might be morning 9 o'clock for us, but it'll be 12 o'clock in Australia, it'll be 6 o'clock in Europe, some part in Europe. So there is a time difference. So we have to understand what is the distance involved and how we have to share this information. Okay, how urgent it is and how we are gonna get the reply or feedback at the early. Then you have cost factor. We have to understand what is the cost involved. If it is mail or something, yeah, it is relatively cheaper. If it is a oral, then we have to go for Skype and all those things. Okay, it's relatively cheap. If I have to go for a telephone line, the per minute charges will be applicable. So we have to understand which is the best way. Then what are the resources available? So if I have to do a Skype call, I have to ensure everybody has a system. Okay, so or a mobile. But what are the resources available with the other person, I have to be aware of. Might be if I want to send a fax, I can't send it just like that to the other person, because the other person will not be having a fax machine. Okay, so all these things become important for us to analyze what are the facilities available. Based on that, I have to go with the effective way of taking the which means or mode is applicable. Based on that, we can go ahead and choose the effective means of communication for our organization. So what are the mediums of digital communication? With respect to digital communication, what all becomes important? The first one is email. You know what is email. Then you have instant messaging, just like your WhatsApp, Hangout, and all these things. Mobile phones, constantly you can call up and talk to them. Are personal digital assistants, like you have Google Talk or all these things, where if you tell set an alarm, okay, or um, set an alarm or set a meeting, book a calendar appointment. Okay, so you have all these speech apps installed in your mobile. So if you use all those things, that is called as your personal assistants, basically Siri in app. Okay, then you have forums and groups, like you will have WhatsApp groups, forums, email forums, okay, where any doubts, clarifications will be asked. Then you have blogs. Blogs are nothing like your Wikipedia. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can go search for that particular word or particular information, and the information will be explained. Those will be called as your blogs. Okay, then you have Skype. I hope everybody knows what is Skype. Then you have video conference. Video conference will be your WebEx. Okay, PDA is again like your mobile apps, which will help you in taking down notes. Might be in WhatsApp, you have something called as that mic button. Okay, if you click that mic button and give some information, it will be converted into text. Okay, you need not sit and type a particular message. That's all called personal digital assistants. Okay, where you're not wasting time in typing that particular message. You're reading out a particular message that's being converted into text. Okay, or you have certain apps which will help you to set an alarm, set a meeting record. Okay, so all those things will be considered as your meeting records, and all these things that will be considered as your yes. Okay, then you have just 2 minutes. Huh. Then you have different kinds of networks. So within an organization, in terms of communication networks, we are going to start with different networks which are being used in an organization. The organization networks will be vertical network, circular network, chain network, wheel network, and star network. So what happens with these different forms of networks? So in vertical network, okay, so in vertical network, what will happen? Supervisor will communicate with subordinate. Subordinate will communicate with supervisor. So the information is coming from top level to bottom level. It is going back from bottom level to top level. This is called as vertical network. Okay. So the next one, what you have is you have circular network. A or any other person in the organization is sending a message to B. B will read that particular message. When he has any doubts, he's going to give a feedback. Okay, so this is what is considered as a circular network. But here, if you see, there is no feedback available. Okay, it is only instructions given by them. Completed tasks will be updated to them. Okay, so there is no option for feedback or interpreting the message. Okay, this is the difference between vertical and circular. So there is no feedback and message interpretation available in vertical. Only in circular they give you an option to reply back. Okay, then you have chain network. So what happens in chain network? There will be one particular head in the department. He will pass on the information. Let's say there is a vice president or a president or a CEO. Okay, CEO is there in the organization. He'll pass on the information to Vice President 1 and Vice President 2. Vice President 1 is located in Delhi. So he will pass on the information to finance manager to finance executive. Another vice president is located in Bangalore. This person will pass the information to finance manager in Bangalore, finance executive in that particular place. Okay, so just like the information which comes from top level management to different people, the same information when it flows from different levels of organization, that will be called as my chain network. The next one is a wheel network where there is one CEO, okay, and there are different heads of different departments. Each department head is directly connected with the CEO. So he can talk to the CEO and he can get back the information from CEO. So each person has access with your CEO, then it is called wheel network. It need not be CEO as such, it can be any other person. Okay, so when there is a finance manager, let's say we have a finance manager, or we have a class teacher. Okay, there is a class teacher, there are different students, each person can ask their doubt and get it clarified. Okay, same thing will happen in your organization. That is what is called as wheel network. Then you have star network. Star network is something like a open network. Okay, anybody can talk to anybody at any given time and everybody will be connected. So they need not follow any particular a procedure or a pattern. They will just go with important conversations however they want. They won't wait for any particular uh, like information or a procedure to be followed, protocol to be followed. Those things won't be there. This is a free environment, just like you talking with any of your friend. Okay, like that there will be certain organizations which will allow a star network. Okay, so these are the different methods, different networks. Okay, communication networks. Then you have barriers to communication. So what are the different barriers to communication? Lack of planning. So if I have to implement communication, I have to ensure that I plan efficiently before communication process is taking place. I should not have false assumptions about my receiver, the information what I send. Okay, so all these things I should not have false assumptions. I should have clarity before sending my information. Ambiguity is when I'm sending certain information, it should be concise. So if you remember 7 C's of communication, the same thing opposite they have given. Okay, so here they will keep it very clear. Keep the information clear and concise. So don't go and give way for ambiguity. Distortion, again, disturbance, noise, any any interpretations, all those things will be called distortions. Passing judgment is without knowing anything or analyzing the information or reading the information or hearing the information, you're not being a part of the communication system. You're often getting lost, partially understanding the information, partially listening to the information, then again coming back and asking, what is this, what is that? Okay, so and when things are not being clarified by your top level management, you just pass on judgments. Okay, so all those things will be considered as passing judgments. Okay, then you have implied meaning. When certain information is being passed on to you, don't go with implied meaning. This can be a very big barrier. Okay, the receiver can have an implied meaning. Oh, this is what it means, that is what it means. Okay, don't get into any interpretation. Ask for a feedback and then get the particular clarity so it is more clear to you. Then you have lack of trust. When a particular person is not trusting you, or you don't have trust on the receiver or any of the sender. Okay, important aspect in communication process is having trust. So if you don't have it on the other person, then it becomes relatively tough. Okay, then you have problems of semantic distortion. Semantic distortion is something where people are not being constantly aware of things what's happening around them. That is like you will be working on certain things but deliberately not deliberately, but non-deliberately your mind will be somewhere else. Okay, like physically present, mentally absent. So if this is the problem with you, then it becomes difficult for you to concentrate on things. So semantic distractions happen when you're not able to concentrate on things, not able to understand things. Why? Because partially you're trying to adhere to the information, the remaining information you're leaving it across. Okay, so when you try to do this, that's what is called as semantic distractions. Then you have ways to overcome these barriers. That is, clarify ideas before communication. So in the communication process, kindly give feedback and get it clarified. Communicate according to the needs of the receiver. Know what is the receiver's attitude. Based on that, we have to communicate. Then consult others before communication. Might be the information is being sent out as a report. Consult with your manager or senior manager or your colleague whether the information is correct. Has any mistakes? Are you not able to understand any information? If so, give me a feedback so I'll correct it so it doesn't go to the final recipient and they give any feedback. Okay, so you're trying to consult with others. Then beware of the language, tone, and content of the messages. Have courtesy, have politeness, be positive. Try to pass on information that is being positive. Okay, that's very important. Convey things of help and value to the listener. Always try to pass on information which is valuable to the receiver and try your 100% best to give the input to the receiver. It's left to the receiver whether they want to take it or not. That is their perspective. Okay. Ensure, but from your end as a sender, you should always give proper information. Then ensure proper feedback. Once the information is being sent as a sender, just don't keep quiet. Constantly try to review the information and understand what is the feedback given by them. That is very, very important. Then you have consistency of messages. Always try to have consistency in the program, technique, method, how you reply. Within 1 day you reply or within 2 days you reply. Okay, have a consistency in that. Then have a follow-up communication. Just check with them whether everything is comfortable. Do they have any problems? Okay, with the receiver once in a while. So it need not be verbal communication. It need not be written communication. You can also go with oral communication. Okay, and check with them. Then also try to be a good listener. Then communication process will be easier. Fine. With respect to questions, many are asking me how the questions will be asked. If you see, there are sample questions here given here. This is the way questions will be asked with respect to this particular chapter. You can just go through these particular questions. Okay, those are the sample questions. So now let's take up your chat. kindly, a very kind request, kindly don't copy paste your questions. Hold on, I will answer. Repeatedly, if you keep pasting your questions, I will leave out on certain questions. That's why. Okay? Just don't post it repeatedly. Okay, I'll just take from whatever is possible. What is grapevine communication? I've told you already, gossips in an organization will be called as grapevine communication. We won't call it as gossips, we call it as grapevine. I don't know where you are listening, I explained this. Okay, then somebody asked me what is brainstorming. Case study analysis is called as brainstorming. If any case is there, if any issue is there, if you're not able to analyze and interpret within the organization, then we call it as brainstorming, where people come together, we study and analyze and interpret, and based on that interpretation we go ahead with the analysis. Okay, that's what is called as brainstorming. Okay, if it's not audible, kindly log out and log in, you will be able to hear. Then where is this? What is Johari window? Okay, Johari window is something where information, it's just like SWOT analysis. Okay, there is a concept where information is known to me, information is not known to others. We are trying to interpret this, how information will pass on from one place to another. Okay, that's what is being explained in Johari window. If you're still not able to understand, might be in Friday's class we'll take it up in detail again. Ma'am, about what types of questions will be asked, I've explained you. Kindly go down. That those are the type of questions which will be asked in your exams. Okay, what sample questions they have given. What is cross communication? There's nothing called cross communication in this particular chapter. We have not come across that. Marks allotted to each chapter. There is nothing like that. Everything has equal weightage. And what are socio-psychological barriers? Socio-psychological is the behavior aspects, whether how we are able to interpret certain things, how we are able to analyze or react to a particular thing. That's what we call it as socio-physical barriers. Okay. Ma'am, diagonal flow. Diagonal flow is nothing but a simple example. Okay, there is a finance manager. He wants to know the details of his entire team's attendance. Okay, so he reaches out to a HR executive. Okay, HR executive. So finance manager is talking to HR executive. So when communications happen between finance manager and HR executive, that is one level, middle level middle level person is communicating with lower level executive of different department, then it is called diagonal communication. Okay, asking for leave updates of all the employees, something like that, that will be called as your diagonal communication. From where we can practice our English, that means how do I say, studying things, something related to English. What is semantic barriers? Semantic barriers I've told you already. Being mentally disturbed while certain information is being provided to you, you're not concentrating on that particular information, then it will be called as semantic barriers. Ma'am, how to apply a Johari window in a job? Why is it used? You need not apply it in a particular job. It is applied in the particular nature of communication alone. So in communication system, if any information has to be applied, then they apply for this particular information. Okay. Why it is used in job? Generally, till date we have not used it in job, but this is for your understanding how information passes. Okay, it can pass from one window to another. Once everybody knows, it will become a public information. That's what they are trying to interpret. Might be this will be important for you for all your non-disclosure agreements, where you have to interpret and analyze. Okay, if you ask me in detail where it will be applied, might be in your NDS. Then vocabulary, how the questions will be. Vocabulary, I've already told you, questions will be in terms of what are the synonyms, adjective, synonyms, antonyms, all those things. With respect to, sorry, I missed out on that question. With respect to communication class, this is what will be asked. Okay, what is internal communication, external communication, downward, upward, okay, like that they'll ask you. What is persuasive communication? Persuasive communication is a process where you're trying to explain things more in detail and trying to be active as much as possible to give all the information required to the receiver. Is star network similar to grapevine communication? No. Courtesy, what you mean? What is courtesy? Courtesy means being courteous. You want to know what is courteous? Kindly check M-W. Questions from Johari window can come in exam? Yes, it can come. Ma'am mentioned what is semantic barrier. I've explained. What is meaning by nodding the head? Nodding the head is one form of non-verbal communication where you're trying to be interactive and give the other person an acknowledgement that you're listening to them. Again, diagonal communication. I explained what is diagonal communication. Principle of concreteness. Concrete is trying to be complete and give all the information. That is what is considered as concreteness. Is noise a semantic barrier? Yes, noise is a semantic barrier if you create that noise mentally or disturbance around. Okay. Audio visual communication. Oh, WebEx is an audio visual communication. What is audio visual communication? Okay. Diagonal communication explained. Manoj, I've explained. And again, semantic barrier explained. Price list manual, what type of communication? Written communication. Star network similar? No. What is grapevine? Again, same questions. How to connect to desktop? What you want to connect? Upward, downward flow. When information passes from top level management to lower level, it will be downward flow. When information passes from lower level to top level, it will be called upward flow. Distortion is disturbance. Evaluative communication, we don't have that in this particular chapter. Give some sample questions on email. No, we are not working on that. You have ICSI website which gives you mock test that will give you the update. Okay. Somebody is so concerned. 9:30 is our next class, ma'am. Enough close. Okay, fine. Sure. Okay. So if you have any additional doubts, kindly note it down. Friday we'll take it up. Fine. What is mean by nodding of head? Nodding of head is a method of replying. Okay, non-verbal communication. If you want to reply, how you want to reply? That is what is asked. So if you see me also when I'm explaining, I just go with explanation. A nodding of my head. That's what is called nodding of your head. What is PDA? Personal digital assistance. I've explained to you again. Any app in your phone that will help you to organize things, meetings, and all these things, like Google Connect. Okay, you have all the meetings, whatever comes into schedule, it goes and falls there, and it will give you a reminder. That's what is basically called as PDA. Okay, please share the link. Just a minute. Can you please explain grapevine communication again? What is so important about grapevine? Grapevine is nothing but a communication system where I am not. Grapevine communication system is something where I'm trying to explain certain things, but it is not physically present. Okay, just like gossips. That's what is called grapevine communication. There's nothing so important about grapevine communication. Then what is blue collar and white collar? Blue collar is something people who are lower level management. White collar will be the middle level management. That's called blue collar and white collar. This is the particular link. Okay, thanks. We'll just end the class for today. If any doubts, kindly note it down. Friday we'll take it. Okay, thank you.